Hey guys, I just got back from Jasper. It was a great trip. We had a lot of fun. We saw a lot of bears, we saw a lot of elk, we saw a lot of mountains. Here's the highlights. These are some of my favorite things. I hope you enjoy them. If you go to Jasper, I definitely recommend checking all these spots out because they were epic and they were a blast. I hope you enjoy. Alright, so the first place we visited was Maligne Canyon. It's a great little canyon hike and it takes you down along the whitewater. And there's some beautiful wildflowers, there's a couple bridge crossings. It's just a cool spot. You need to go see it for yourself. That's all I'm going to say. We also went to Maligne Lake. It was a big glacier lake. It was huge. There's also a mountain right next to it that is just a giant rock face. In Maligne Lake, there's also a cool little burn area where there was a forest fire there at one time, but now it's kind of has some fresh growth around it. There's a lot of wildflowers there. And there were some people fishing and they caught some trout. So I guess it's a good fishing lake. There's also another lake called Maligne Lake. It's a great little picnic place. You can have a picnic there and just kind of hang out and relax. And if you're feeling crazy and you want to rent a boat or rent a little kayak or a canoe, there were a lot of people out on canoes. It looked like a good time. We also hiked Valley of the Five Lakes. This hike's pretty easy. It was relatively flat. If you're getting a little bit hot on a summer day, you can just jump in the lakes. I highly recommend the Valley of the Five Lakes. It was one of my favorite experiences while I was in Jasper. Pyramid Mountain is pretty much the iconic view of Jasper National Park. You can pretty much see it from all around the park. Pyramid Island is a cool place to go and hang out. and you get a great view of Pyramid Mountain from the island. Pretty much you go walk around there. They said there's all kind of wildlife on Pyramid Island that represents the wildlife throughout the whole entire park, which is kind of cool, so it's a good place to check out. Like the wildflowers and the trees there that are just on that island, you can find them spread out through all of Jasper, and I thought that was a pretty cool fact. Patricia Lake is a great spot to check out. It's also a beautiful blue lake, and you can rent boats there and kayaks there, and it gives you a great view of Pyramid Mountain. So I highly recommend checking out Patricia Lake, Pyramid Lake, and Pyramid Mountain. Next, you have the Sulpher Skyline Trail. It is the sweetest hike that I've ever done in my whole entire life, and I've done a lot of hiking. I'm from Seattle. There's some great hiking out here. These views at the top, they kind of kicked Washington's butt, I will admit. It's a 360-degree view at the top. I mean, you look around 360 degrees, and there's just epic, jagged peaks all around. The hike is moderate. It starts out relatively flat for the first quarter mile, and then it steadily increases from there. Pretty much an incline the whole entire hike. It is 5 miles round trip. The last mile is relatively steep, so just make sure you're prepared and you have lots of water and hiking shoes. So in addition to the hike, there's also hot springs at the trailhead, so you can kind of jump in after your hike and rinse off. There's also lots of bighorn sheep in that area, so keep your eyes out. You'll probably see a few of them. Edith is a little bit tricky at the moment because you need a permit to park at Mount Edith. So what that means is you need to go to the visitor center in Jasper, in the town of Jasper, and you need to obtain a permit. We got there right when the visitor center opened, and we actually stood in line for a solid 40 minutes to get a permit. You need to go early if you want to go the day of, because they only give out 150 permits per day. If you want to go the following day, it's a little bit easier to get a permit, but you still need to go to the visitor center, stand in line, and get a permit so you can park at the trailhead. Besides the beautiful mountains in Jasper, there's also a lot of beautiful wildlife. While we were there, we saw a total of 9 bears. We also saw about maybe 70 elk. Well, they actually woke us up one morning walking right through the campground, which is pretty awesome. Literally walked right past our tent. Also saw a coyote, a bunch of goats. So be aware when you're out there driving. Make sure you know there's wildlife out there. Drive slow, drive the speed limit, and just be aware, because the bears will walk right down the side of the road.